The book that waited. Constantine had worked at the Riverside Public Library for 37 years. He knew every creak in the hardwood floors, every temperamental shelf, and every regular patron by name. At 62, with silver threading through his dark hair, he moved through the stacks like a curator in a museum of stories. Every Tuesday at 2 p.m. he noticed her. Roxanne would slip in through the side entrance, always wearing oversized sweaters despite the season, always heading straight to the back corner near the poetry section. She never checked out books. She just read, intensely, desperately, as if the words were oxygen. Constantine noticed other things too. The worn shoes. The same 3 sweaters rotated throughout weeks. The way she'd linger near the water fountain as if it were a meal, and the bruise, fading but unmistakable, that appeared on her cheek one October afternoon. He didn't approach her directly. Constantine understood that dignity was fragile and assumptions could shatter it. Instead, he began leaving things. A granola bar tucked into the poetry shelf with a note. Extra from my lunch, hate to waste. See, a pamphlet about domestic violence resources, carefully placed in a book on Rumi she frequently read. A winter coat on the lost and found rack with her exact size tagged, unclaimed for 90 days, free to good home. Roxanne took the granola bars. The pamphlet disappeared. The coat remained. One evening, as Constantine was closing, he found her crying silently in her corner. A book of Mary Oliver poems open in her lap. "Miss Roxanne," he said gently, keeping his distance. "The library closes in 10 minutes, but there's no rush." She looked up, embarrassed. "I'm sorry, I'll go." "I'm not asking you to leave, I'm asking if you're safe." The question hung in the air between them. Finally, she shook her head. Constantine sat down 2 chairs away, close enough to help, far enough to let her breathe. "That coat on the rack," he said quietly. "It wasn't actually lost, I bought it. And there's an apartment above my daughter's garage. She's been wanting to rent it cheap to someone trustworthy who'd help with her kids' homework sometimes. You strike me as someone who loves books enough to share them." Roxanne stared at him, tears streaming. "Why?" "Because 30 years ago I was sleeping in my car with my baby daughter. A librarian named Mrs. Chen let me use the library bathroom to clean up for job interviews. She forgot her lunch for me every day for 2 months. She never made me feel small." He smiled softly. "Libraries are about more than books. They're about giving people a place to become who they're meant to be." That night, Roxanne called the number on the pamphlet. Constantine helped her move her few belongings to his daughter's property. She started working part-time at the library 6 months later, reshelving books and running the children's story hour. 2 years after that, Constantine retired. At his farewell party, Roxanne stood to speak. "Constantine taught me that compassion isn't loud or intrusive. It's a granola bar that says you matter. It's a question that says I see you. It's giving someone space to heal while making sure they know they're not alone." She held up a book. "And it's knowing that every person who walks through those doors is a story still being written." She presented him with a first edition of Mary Oliver's poems, the one she'd been reading that night. Inside she'd written, "For see who saw me when I couldn't see myself. Every story needs a compassionate reader. Thank you for being mine." True compassion respects dignity, offers help without demands, and understands that sometimes the smallest gestures carry the weight of salvation. Life Skills TTP. Enjoy your day.